Alright, so I got a Grail call. Before I show this, a little history. The month this debuted on the newsstand, the Dalai Lama was granted asylum in India. The Barbie doll debuted. Motown was founded. And Hawaii became a state. Um, so another interesting fact about this book is the character that debuts, the artist used his wife as the model for this character. Um, and that artist was Al Plastino, and the book is Action Comics 252 in a 5.0. Let's see if I can get that a little bit better. Yeah, it's better. And this has beautiful colors on it. Great copy. I started going after this after the Superman movie. I watched that and started hunting for a decent copy. Came across a couple. I almost pulled the trigger on two different ones that were actually in worse shape than this. And one was actually for more money, and it was a grade lower than this. And I was literally about to hit the button to buy it, and then somebody called me, and I answered the phone. Then went back to scrolling, and this popped up in my feed, and I looked over this book, and it was less money, a grade higher, and the seller, which was Automatic Comics, great guy, allowed me to do payments. And so I was able to not put this on a card or anything else. I was able to actually make payments on it and pay it off faster and with less money. So shout out to Automatic Comics, great guy, great person to deal with. We'll definitely be using him again. And it was shipped like, I think it was shipped like within the day that I paid. And it was, of course, wrapped in plastic, which was taped to the inside of the box, and then the box was taped together, and then it was shipped with a ton of bubble wrap, and in a secure box. So A+ on the shipping, A+ on the price, A+ on communication and dealing with him as a seller. Just all around 5 stars and great person to deal with. Very excited to have this. This was probably the biggest book I was after I got the first appearance of Legion a couple months back. And then I have another book on the way, and then I have one more big book, I think, before the year ends, that I have my sights on that I'm going to get. And then that'll probably be it for this year, and then I'll be starting a new list next year of what I'll be hunting down. But yeah, this is by far. And shout out to Matt Likes Comics. Matt also got a copy of Action 252. I think it was last week or a week before last. And then he also got First Legion as well. So it's kind of funny. We reversed it. I think he got Action 252 first, and then got Legion, and I got Legion first, and then got 252. So we're twins. So and then in the background today, I put up try to, don't know if you can see, right there is Superman. I think it's 121. That is the first like imaginary Supergirl, and then here I don't remember the number, but Superman has got it came out a month before Action 252, and it has an ad page for Action 252, and then right here is Action 251, which also has an ad page for 252. That is the Tomorrow's book, Al Plastino. What's it called? Last Superman Standing. Great book. I also did an article um, with Al Plastino's daughter. This is Krypton Companion, and then the other father, Supergirl, Otto Binder. He also created Mary Marvel, and then here I just put up a Superboy comic where it's the first meeting of Superboy and Supergirl. Um, but I did a article a while back when I worked for DC Comic News about Al Plastino. It was right after he passed, and I was fortunate enough to talk to his daughter, and she sent me some photos. Unfortunately, I don't have them, but in the article, of course, all the photos in the article were scrubbed. You can still find the article online, but the pictures that were in the article are gone. But in that article, um, I had a photo of Al Plastino's wife, who looked is a dead ringer for Supergirl. I mean, dead ringer. He based the look of Supergirl on his wife, lucky guy. And Otto Binder, who was the writer, um, he created Mary Marvel. Um, People are familiar with Otto Binder, um, the Marvel family, and Shazam and Captain Marvel. And then he would later go on to co-create the Legion of Superheroes as well. Which is why I think growing up I always liked Batman because of the Batman TV series and then Super Friends. When I started watching the Super Friends cartoon, one of my favorites actually was Green Lantern, and I really like Talkman. But it wasn't until later that I really started like looking at. I guess when I became an adult, really started looking at Superman differently. Um, just a classic character. And then when you look back on like the Golden Age and the Silver Age, it's such a rich history of characters and stories that came about. I mean, you just look at it. You got the original, Superman stories, which were great. You go into the 50s, even the weird stuff. It's fun. And then you have the supporting characters, and then you have the Superman family, and then you get Legion that spills out of that. And then you can also argue that the New Gods come out of that because it was coming out of Jimmy Olsen, and Superman was a big part of that. And it was another group of characters that kind of spilled out from there. The whole Jack Kirby New Gods um, came out of that. So a lot of great things have come out of the Superman books and stories and series. Um, that's added so much rich history to the DCU. Um, so I look at it differently now as an adult. I guess going back and reading, like especially reading these books like the Krypton Companion and Al Plastino and Otter Bender, um, you start seeing like a lot, and the different creators that worked on the books and the different eras. There's just so much there. Um, it's a great deep dive if you have time. Look at different eras and then see like what was created during those eras and what kind of crisscrossed over and everything. But just want to share this, and I'm kind of rambling on, but really excited about this. So let me get that focus in again. There we go. And just wanted to get this before the movie hit because I think that movie is going to be huge. Um, I think it's going to be bigger than Superman, really, if they do it right. Um, this also has Superman meets Metallo in it as well. So there's another kind of little nice, smaller appearance there, but really excited to have this book in such a great shape too. Colors, like I say, colors are beautiful. It's got a couple spine ticks, but they're really, I mean, right there. But other than that, the other copies that I looked at had way worse spine ticks. One had a crunch down here in the corner. Another copy from here across was folded over. So it had this big color break going across the cover, and this one's got a little bend at the corner that you could barely see, and like I said, that little spine tick on Superman's arm, which is not the worst I mean, it's like a better copy than I've seen other 5.0s, and even I've seen a 6.0 that was actually didn't have a nice cover as this. So I'm really excited to have this one. And like I said, shout out to Automatic Comics. Great guy to deal with, and I will be using him again. So thanks for watching. That's it. Um, Stay tuned because I will have a Legion live show with Cliff on comics, Matt likes comics, and Collecto6. Um, we will be announcing that soon. So just stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching.